I love when it just like stops spinning and I gotta wait for it to say I'm live.
Yeah. And you're
Oh,
live.
and we are live. Hey, look at that. Hey.
Hey.
Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Sundays with the General. I'm joined by our old friend Just Luke is back in the studio for God fucking. When's the last time you were on this show, buddy?
Probably 2 or 3 weeks at least.
Oh, wow,
At least.
that short ago? No, thought it was longer than that.
Oh, it's always long when I don't see your face, Steve. It's always long, bud.
Yeah, that's true. And like I always miss your face too. Like a day feels like just a day feels like a week. So
I know.
yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get into the big reason that I had to bring you on, we'll touch on a few of the things that have gone on this week. Rob Gronkowski has retired again. I don't believe that Gronk is retired.
No.
The banner's trying to add to the screen. Won't do it. That's good. Yeah, look. Gronk has annoyed the hell out of me the last few years since his first unretirement. I found it really hard to like a guy that I always loved.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, this whole, you saw Rosenhaus come out and, no, I don't think he's truly done if Tom asked for him to come. Like, this is like, I'm almost glad they're gone seeing this bullshit. Like,
I mean, it's turned into like a bad like drama during the day.
Yeah, it's like a bad soap opera.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it really is.
I don't want the sideshow, and I'm glad that the Patriots aren't dealing with the sideshow, and they're just like, yeah, we're gonna build a football team.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Tampa Bay, you're sitting there like, well, I wonder if Gronk's gonna stay retired after we wondered if Brady was gonna stay retired.
Right. So 2 things. I do agree with Drew Rosenhaus. He isn't retired. I think he comes back when they're 7-3, right? 7 games left in the season. They got the Browns, the Saints, the 49ers, the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Falcons. Those are your last 7 games. So really, the Falcons should be a dub. The Panthers should be a dub. The Cardinals probably should be a dub. Depending on what Bengals team plays, that should be a dub. 49ers, I have no idea what the 49ers are doing with their lives, so that should be a dub. The Saints will probably lose, and they should win against the Browns. So relatively, they'll be the number 1 seed next year with 4 losses. Because the first part of their schedule, their first 10 games, the Dolphins should be a win, the Titans a win, the Colts don't really know, the Cowboys don't really know, the Saints there's kind of a toss-up, the Packers, the Chiefs, the Falcons, the Steelers, the Panthers, the Ravens, and the Rams. So you get through those first 10 games, you're at 7-3. It's pretty good in the NFC right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, and especially if that's their schedule after that's a cakewalk, like you said. So
yeah, the other thing with Gronk is I read a tweet from Mark Daniels today that said during the virtual off-season workouts, Gronk had to run sprints and send them to the Bucs every day. So one day, Gronk recorded himself running sprints in different shirts on the same day and sent videos to the Bucs organization on different days, showing him running sprints.
So this is
just a baller move by Gronkowski.
No, this is something right here. This shows how like inept Tampa Bay is. That like Gronk's outsmarting them.
Yeah, yes, 100%.
Gronk of all players is outsmarting them.
Yeah.
This is a guy who
I
the first
mean-
time he met Bill Belichick, he fell asleep.
Yeah.
Still
I mean,
somehow lasted a while.
I mean, that's the most Gronk thing I think I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Now, if he is retired, and if he stays retired, this whole debate on who the greatest tight end of all time is,
There is no debate.
it needs to stop. I need to stop seeing this question online. I need to stop seeing this. It's not close.
No.
I'm gonna sound biased. Well, I'm glad I have a Steelers fan on here with me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound biased because I watched Gronk as a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
Gronk, in his prime, was one of the best receiving threats in the game. Not just the best receiving tight ends. He was one of the best receivers.
Yeah.
In the game.
Yeah.
You had to cut as a defense. You had to game plan for Gronk, like you game planned for the number one receivers in the NFL.
I mean,
you had to double, triple cover this guy, and even then, you still didn't do that much.
He changed how a defense has to play. Single-handedly. They had to when you look at the AFC East the AFC East and really the entire AFC, you had to literally change your philosophies to we don't need we didn't need run stopping linebackers. We needed linebackers that could stop the run as a secondary option, but they need to be able to
run with a guy like Gronk.
Run, cover, and tackle Gronk. He literally
changed
the entire way a defense had to play against them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He changed the way that GMs drafted for their defense, because when Gronk first came in the league, one of the things they always said was corners were too small to cover him.
Right.
And linebackers were too slow to cover him.
Right.
And that, on top of all that, Gronk blocked like a left tackle.
Right.
Like, he wasn't just the best blocking tight end in the game. He blocked better than some of the starting left tackles in the NFL.
Right, 100%.
Gronk could have started at left tackle for fucking teams in the NFL.
I mean, I watched it. I watched it happen numerous times against the Steelers defense. I mean, there's no way a Steelers defense from those early Super Bowls, like James Ferrier not covering Gronkowski, Larry Foote not covering Rob Gronkowski. We had to change our complete complexure in that league. We had to go get a Ryan Shazier. We had to go get a Devin Bush. We had to get guys that could literally try, I'm not even saying cover him. Just try to cover. Like, throw your dead body at him and hope for the best. Like,
one of my favorite shots of Gronk on the field is that, I forget what team it's against, but there's 3 defenders lined up on him at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
The only other player that I've ever seen get 3 guys pressed up at the line of scrimmage was fucking Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
And you have to also factor in that Calvin Johnson was on the Lions, and therefore he was the only talented offensive player on the team.
Yeah.
Because the Lions are not allowed to have like more than 2 talented players at a time. It's physics. Right. I didn't take physics in high school, but I assume that's that.
I mean, just when you think about it, when I was taught, you hit the tight end right off the rip. If you're a defensive end, you hit the tight end right off the rip. Then you go to the next level. The linebacker needs to catch him at the next level. But the safety's not fast enough to come down, and the linebacker's not fast enough to cover in the flats. And I mean, he just destroyed
And the DN's not strong enough to throw him off his route.
Yeah, right.
Like, and I mean, I I see these kids, these Chiefs fans always put up like these Kelsey videos, and they're like, Gronk's not doing this. It's like, no.
Then
See,
obviously
football
you've never
didn't
watched
start in
football.
2018.
Yeah.
Gronk after 2016 isn't doing that.
Right.
Gronk in 2011 was running by everyone, running through everyone.
Right.
I mean, that season was insane. He was fucking nearly 1,400 yards receiving as a tight end.
Right.
That-
That's what I'm saying. Like, he broke yardage records. He almost broke the touchdown record for just receiving in general. Not even a tight end, just receiving in general. Like,
through the first 10 years of Gronk's career, there was only one player in those 10 years that caught more touchdowns in that period of time than Gronk.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
So one of at his height, the best wide receiver in football.
Well, just let me give you five. Let me give you like three guys. Gonzalez, him or Gronk.
I take Gronk. I've gone over this. Gonzalez has the all-time numbers when you look at the per game stats between Gronk and Gonzalez. Gronk impacted each game on a higher level.
Jimmy Graham.
But Gronk and Jimmy Graham, it's not
even close.
Not even close.
Not even close. And that
so Gonzalez could actually block on the line of scrimmage. Jimmy Graham couldn't.
Right. And that's when I think of receiving tight ends, it's Jimmy Graham and Gronk are the first two guys that come to mind. And it's really Gronk first, then Jimmy Graham. Like, those are the first two guys I think of, like, when that transition happened to me.
Yeah.
Right. And Antonio Gates. Those are my guys right there.
Gronk, I loved Antonio Gates, and
Gronk,
I looked at the per game stats between Gates and Gronk. It's not close. Gronk. This is that's one of the things when you look at some of Gronk's years, you have to look at every year of how many games he actually played because he was injured.
Like, if he actually played a full 16.
There are a lot of seasons in here. Like I'm gonna pull up some of the season stats because there are years where he played like 10 games and had 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Like he just didn't do that. Even like most receivers really don't do that. All right, 2010. Rookie year, 42 catches, 546 yards, 10 touchdowns. Solid.
Yeah.
2011, 90 catches, 1,327 yards, 17 touchdowns. Started all 16 games.
Yeah.
That's insane. 2012. Plays 11 games, 55 catches, 790 yards, 11 touchdowns.
Right.
In 11 games,
he had
11 touchdowns.
Yeah.
2013, 6 games, 39 catches, 592 yards, 4 touchdowns. At 6 games, 600 yards and 4 touchdowns. Yeah. In 6 games.
6 games.
2014, starts 10 games, plays in 15, 82 catches, 1,124 yards, 12 touchdowns. 2015, plays 15 games, 72 catches, 1,176 yards, 11 touchdowns.
That's what I'm saying.
Even you look at, let's see, 2018. This is one of the years that people say, he was down. He wasn't in his prime anymore. He played 11 games. He had 47 catches, for 682 yards and 3 touchdowns. That was a down, and on top of that, he had the biggest play in the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
The sailing catch to set them up for the field goal in triple coverage against the Rams.
Right.
Right. And that's one of the other things too, is that he always showed up in the big moments.
Right.
And I've always said the great players elevate in these moments.
Yeah.
Now, I remember one time against the Steelers. I'm sure you remember the game well, 2017 AFC Championship game.
Oh, yeah.
He took over the game.
Yeah.
Completely took over the field. I know, not to rub it in, but
no, I'm dead serious. If we played only 2 quarters, we're good.
It was the second half of that game. All of a sudden, it was every fucking play was Gronk, and you're like, I honestly, I remember getting through like the third quarter and just like the way that like Gronk was starting to take over. I'm like, oh, this is over because there's nothing that the Steelers are going to be able to do.
No. If we just played the first and second quarter, we're good.
Yeah,
like we were good.
So we'll see when he decides to come back. We've got Luke has it at 10 games.
There's got to be an over under. I say 10.
Yeah. We'll look into the betting lines on that. Onto the NBA, if my banners will pull up. There is more Kyrie Irving drama. Who ever could have possibly thought that this could? Whoever could have seen this coming with the Nets? I mean, this is Kyrie Irving being problematic to a team. I've never heard of this. Have you? This is crazy.
No, never heard of that.
Yeah, no, definitely never happened. It's just so funny to me. This is absolutely hilarious to me.
I just, there's no argument for me. You've played 28 games in Brooklyn.
Yeah, they had. I'm going to say this about their Brooklyn team last year when they had Durant and Harden and Irving. They had one of the best collections of talent ever assembled in the NBA.
Yep.
They got nothing.
Yep.
They got nothing.
Nothing at all.
The Woj had to use his vocabulary the other day on ESPN, and the situation is getting acrimonious, which means it's getting hostile. I don't know why he couldn't just say
that. But okay. Yeah.
Acrimonious. Woj was fucking reading the dictionary that morning.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, he was like, remember White Goodman walking down the stairs reading Merriam-Webster's dictionary and dodgeball. Yeah, that was Woj on his way to work that morning. God, acrimonious. That sounds like a fun word.
Yeah.
And he only got through the A's. He didn't get too far.
I think him and Durant have played like 50 games together.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Possible damn near like 300. Or maybe not 300, maybe like 220, or it's like a ridiculous number though. Like they could play together, and like 50 max.
Part of me wants to feel bad for Durant because Kyrie talked him into this. Kyrie talked him into joining him, and it all fell apart because of Kyrie. But at the same time, I don't want to feel bad for Durant because you chose to seek out your own team and your own better situation again. You couldn't see this coming with Irving.
I don't want to hear it from Kevin Durant because him and Kyrie are the 2 biggest piss babies ever to walk the face of the earth. Get off social media, Kevin Durant. If you seriously can't handle it, just get off of it. I'm so tired. He's like, oh, I was stuffed way before Golden State. Did you win any titles before Golden State, bud?
Yeah, see, I hate I don't like that either with him. It's like, dude, just ignore it.
Well, Steve, you can't get mad at people when they're saying facts. You didn't win dog shit in Oklahoma. You didn't even win a Western Conference final.
Yeah. So, like, see, that's
Like-
actually a good point. Is like, so Russell Westbrook the other day fired back at Skip Bayless,
Yeah,
and I
saw
don't
that.
mind Westbrook firing back at that because he got called Westbrook, and he's just like, no, call him by my name.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what? Fine, if you like, I can understand people being like, oh, players talk about it back on social media. That's one thing. He doesn't like that name going around about him. Sure.
Yeah.
I can actually accept that
Yeah.
for Russell Westbrook. But when Durant sits there and he's like, no, they're telling me that Steph Curry was more important than me in Golden State. No. Bro, Steph won a ring before you went there.
Right.
And he won a ring after you left.
Right.
You didn't win a ring before you went there. You haven't won a ring after you left.
Right.
You were very important to Golden State. Kevin Durant was absolutely very important to what Golden State did.
And
But
let's face it,
he wasn't all of it.
You had a young Kevin Durant, a young Russell Westbrook, a young James Harden, a young Serge Ibaka. Like, that team was great in Oklahoma City.
Loaded.
And they were young and underpaid and all this stuff before they were superstars. Like, and you still couldn't win dog shit.
Yeah, and like part of that's on Oklahoma City as they have mismanaged, I think, the talent they've had on that team over the last decade. But like, it's also like you had all the talent, you had the talent there, and I don't have respect for walking away from your team and joining the team that beat you in free agency.
Yeah.
Like that's always a little like but all right, it's back to Kyrie. So he put out his list of teams. I don't know if you saw this.
Nah, I didn't.
That he would want to go to. Pretty much none of them.
I guarantee you.
He said the Mavs, the Sixers, the Heat, and the Lakers. I know were named. I think there might have been another team named.
Only like
yeah, I think the Knicks might have been that, but like most of those teams, it said like the Nets would have to help the team make the trade. The Heat of I guess have expressed zero interest in trading for Kyrie because why would they? Why would they? They were just in the Eastern Conference Finals. Why would you? That's not the tweak you need.
Well, I don't want to see him and Jimmy Butler together. I mean, fuck.
Oh my God, the fucking.
They're psychotic enough.
Yeah, that would be fucking God. That would be crazy. The Mavericks. Again, they said no. They said the Mavericks weren't interested. I like that the Mavericks weren't interested. As much as like you, I could see it, but I like that they're not interested because it's not what you need.
It's just the fact that it's the same thing in the NFL. You're going to get this guy and you have to pay him. Nobody wants to pay you $46.5 million. Nobody wants you to do that. Like the Heat, they can't pay him $46.5 million.
No, like that's one of the things is that they would have to give up salary. They would have to give up players
you're gonna have to give up Tyler Hero, or you're going to have to give up Jimmy Butler. Or you're going to have to piece that out somehow.
Yeah. That means LeBron is expressing interest because we all know LeBron is the GM of the Lakers. So LeBron wants to play with Kyrie again. Is what I'm taking from this. Here's the funny part. The only way the Nets can make a trade that might possibly entice Kevin Durant to stay and make Kyrie happy and match the salary is if they were to do a Kyrie Irving for Russell Westbrook swap with the Lakers, that might,
makes
it's probably
sense.
not enticing Durant to stay, but it is probably the best trade that they're going to be able to do.
Well, if you're the Nets, you have to make Durant happy. You don't need to make Kyrie happy. You need to make Durant happy.
Like, Durant's going to...
I don't know.
Durant's going to walk. If they got no one there, Durant might walk. Because do you think Durant wants to stick around and play with... I hope Ben Simmons is going to play basketball again?
Yeah. That's just so delicate up there right now. I just...
Oh, so delicate.
But I'm just saying...
Very fragile situation.
I'm just so over it. Like, AD is washed. He can't stay healthy. LeBron can't stay healthy. He's washed. Kyrie Irving, yes, he can still score, but Jeannie Buss is not paying you $50 million to play 28 games.
I don't know. She might.
It doesn't fix any of their problems. It doesn't.
No, not at all. It makes everything more chaotic, and that's what I love.
I mean, it fixes no problems for them.
No, it fixes absolutely nothing.
Your defense is bad. You're still old, arguably getting older with Kyrie.
Yeah, well,
what does it fix?
Nothing. Doesn't give you any more depth. Nothing. I love it. It's great.
Oh yeah, for sure. You guys, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the real reason that I needed to bring Luke on. Yeah. I'm gonna throw a little shade here. This should be a Blue Collar Cantina episode.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't not talk about it.
Yeah.
Just I mean, dude, you texted me at like 11 o'clock in the morning the other day. Like, please tell me you've already watched this. I'm like, Luke, I have a job.
For the love of God.
I love that you thought I might have watched it before work or something. I
looked and I was
you're like, yeah, Steve might have woken up at 4:30 in the morning and watched fucking.
I said, "There's
watch Star Wars on the way to work." That's something he might do.
Absolutely, I said, "There's a chance that it could have happened."
Well, I mean, too. I knew what we were getting in this episode, and there was no way I wasn't watching it on my big screen.
Yeah, 100%.
So the series overall, not huge on. I don't like that he knows Leia already. I know she calls him Ben. Ben Kenobi is here when she first meets them in the new movie, but I don't like that she already knows who Obi-Wan is. It feels like a little bit of a retcon. I know people can explain it away. I don't like it. I think you feel the same way about that.
Yeah.
That was an issue to me. Other than that, I actually thought they did well showing his relationship with Leia. Like, they were actually fun together, as much as I didn't like knowing each other. They did a good job with his relationship with Bail Organa.
Yep.
I love that Jimmy Smits was back.
Yeah. Necessary. It
was so necessary. So I love Jimmy Smits. Jimmy Smits, he's just the guy who pops up in everything.
Right. Yeah.
Like, Jimmy Smits is in everything.
Yeah.
Let's say, look, for anyone watching, if you don't know Jimmy Smits, just Google his fucking name. Look up his fucking... The dude is in everything.
Everything.
Yeah, literally everything. He's been in everything.
Yeah. I'd say like a 7 out of 10 is probably realistic.
Yeah, I would say a 7 out of 10, and it really they get the 7 out of 10 because of the way it ended. The last 2 episodes were phenomenal.
Yeah.
So episode 5, Obi-Wan starts getting like stronger again with the Force, and he has to go rescue Leia. That when the glass is about to crack with the water. Oh, when he held it and redirected it at the
He held the
stormtroopers.
entire ocean by the palm of his hand.
That part was like, so this is one with the action scenes. Great use of the Force.
Yeah.
Which is something that they don't always do.
Right.
They really use the Force like in the action scenes.
Yeah.
And like that's as an example right there was awesome. Then the storyline about Reva in episode 5.
Yeah.
About her being one of the younglings that infiltrated the Inquisitors to try to assassinate Vader her own and get revenge for what he did. Yeah. That's one of the coolest stories they've ever done in Star Wars.
Yeah.
That underrated. Is one of
very underrated.
Yeah, like I feel like people should be talking about that more. I thought that was great storytelling. I thought that's one of the coolest ideas they've had.
Yeah.
The final episode. Maybe I have to rewatch all of them to really determine this, but dude, I think that was the best lightsaber fight they've ever fucking done.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Because let's face it, the prequels had the best one. The new ones do not have any good lightsaber fights at all. And
not solo lightsaber duels. They don't. Yeah, they have the throne room scene was like a cool fight scene with lightsabers, but there is no good lightsaber duel.
And arguably in the original trilogy, probably the last one.
The Empire Strikes Back fight between Luke and Vader was very good.
Yeah.
And so was the Return of the Jedi one. So that's both fights in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to count Obi-Wan.
No.
89-year-old Obi-Wan and Vader. That just was really a.
But yeah, no doubt
that's the best one. To me, the best one before that was Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But that fight was on the emotion in it between
the emotion, the music, the
music,
setting.
the youth. Again, yes, the setting was awesome. Right when they landed there, I'm like, oh, I love how they were like just conveniently by like just planet perfectly made for lightsaber battle.
Yeah, 100%. Spires, like, darkness, everything.
Yeah, nice little flat, perfect, like enclosed walkway for them to fight on, like in between all the spires. I'm like, oh yeah, lined up, nice and perfect for a fight. Like so convenient that they were right next to a planet that was just the perfect setting for a fight. Which I love that. The use of the Force again, dude. Like this is, I think, one of the first times we've really seen the use of the Force like that well in a fight. Like they're throwing rocks at each other during the fight and shit. Like that was awesome.
Yeah, like this is the closest I feel like we've gotten to like animated Vader. Like that animated Vader, I mean, he's just reckless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when he literally pulled down an entire ship and ripped it to shreds.
Oh my god, that part was awesome. Yeah, and was outsmarted by Obi-Wan while doing that. But just a nice little touch on the cake because Obi-Wan knew that he was going to be blinded by chasing him and wouldn't see the big picture. Awesome scene.
He literally drug a guy out from behind a wall, threw him around, looked at his kid, snapped the kid's neck, and then drug the girl all the way through the ground without lifting a finger.
Yeah, it was brutal Vader. And
brutal.
Dude, the mask getting cut.
Yeah.
Just like Ahsoka does to him in season 2 of Rebels.
Yeah.
Was awesome. What a fucking scene. And I'm so glad. That's why I'm glad they got Hayden Christensen back. Is I didn't care about it for like him walking in the Vader suit. Seeing that, perfect.
The dialogue the fact that when he starts talking, he sees the blue lightsaber, and by the end, his face is completely red. Like the dialogue, the music, the acting, like just
Yeah. The good point on the dialogue. The goodbye, Darth.
yeah,
He stopped calling mannequin, and just a simple little thing like that. I know it's just a great scene.
yeah.
Now we do have to point out Obi-Wan now in his career, right?
Yeah.
This dude has 2 wins over Vader.
Yep.
He's beaten Maul twice.
Yep.
He beat Savage Opress. And
Amongst bounty hunters too.
Yeah, and General Grievous.
And Grievous, yeah.
This dude's got quite a career.
Yeah,
with his
he's got a
lightsaber.
rap sheet. Yeah, he's got a rap sheet.
There's like you don't want to fuck with him.
Well, also, since Grievous came up, cut the shit with he's going to be the enemy in season 2. The guy's dead.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
If they launch a season 2 and they bring Grievous back as the villain, I'm gonna be very disappointed at what they could be doing.
There's no story you could tell me to make that better. Like I saw the guy's guts literally explode. Like
You know what you could do for a story for me. I'll throw this out to you. You do Cad Bane going after Obi-Wan for season 2.
Yeah. I'd
And
be
just-
on board
just-
with that.
I'd be all over that. You have Cad Bane hired by Vader to go after Obi-Wan in season 2.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Yeah.
I'd love that. I don't know if they're watching. They're probably watching right now.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. The mouse is watching. Yeah.
Yeah. Mickey Mouse and Stan Marshall watching.
Yeah, they're watching.
But yeah, like not a great show overall because of a couple plot inconsistencies, but just awesome
Yeah,
execution.
7 out of 10, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, awesome execution at the end. Really, what I cared about was a great fight scene between Vader and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was like the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
Going into the show, and I was more than pleased with what I got.
Right.
So I'll agree. 7 out of 10. The show will get the general stamp of approval because of the lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
Triple T's to wrap this up. So of course the Celtics lost in the finals, and that means everyone is taking it very well. It's a lot of reasonable ideas to try to make the team better. So we need to get a true point guard. This is the big talking point. So we tried to define. I've kept asking them to tell me what a true point guard is. One answer was we need to get a Chris Paul type, which there's no such thing as a Chris Paul type. There's Chris Paul. There's no Chris Paul type.
Yeah.
There's just Chris Paul.
Yeah.
He's the point guard. Like there's no Chris Paul type.
Right.
And then I saw they need to get a guy like Rondo in 08. So they need to get prime Rajon Rondo.
No one like that, but all right.
Sure. You know what? Hey, listen. If prime Rajon Rondo is available, I want the Celtics to sign him.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
I do. If they can get prime Rajon Rondo, I want him on my team. Unfortunately, they can't go back in time 14 years.
Right.
Yeah, like that's not how this works.
Right.
So apparently, true point guard means
Finding somebody
future
else.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, if you're digging people up from the past, you might as well just dig up some Boston people.
Well, yeah. If we're taking players from the past, then I think we should go back to 1981 and get Magic Johnson.
Right.
If you want a true point guard, then why
Right.
don't we go back even further? Can we get prime Jerry West?
Right.
Is Steph Curry available?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now I've seen all these trade pitches to get Bradley Beal. The Celtics need to get Bradley Beal. Everyone's obsessed with it because he knows Tatum. I don't see the path to get Bradley Beal because of the players that Boston would have to give up. So I've seen that we should. I've seen a few pitches. This one that I saw early this morning is the worst trade pitch I've ever seen in my life.
Awesome.
Marcus Smart, Al Horford, Robert Williams, and Derek
Best
White.
3 defensive players. Okay.
Yep. And Derek White. So your backup point guard to get Bradley Beal. So for one, we've gone from needing a true point guard to let's not even have a point guard.
Right.
Bradley Beal's not a point guard.
Right. And you're back down to, well, now we need a 5, a 4, and a 3.
Yeah. So now we're starting Daniel Tice at center.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just mortgaged your defense. You just gutted all of your defense.
The guy that won Defensive Player of the Year, the guy that could have won Defensive Player of the Year. And
oh yes, and the guy who
Al
made
Horford.
all defensive second team.
Yeah.
And received votes for first team.
And for Bradley Beal.
Yeah. Oh, and your backup point guard who plays great defense. Yeah. To get a shooting guard doesn't play defense.
I mean, I don't even think you could do that in like 2K. Like you can't even do that in like a video game.
Yeah, like the Celtics are saying no to that trade in a video game.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, it's too unrealistic for a video game. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And then I did have today. This was a Nets fan. If the Celtics offer Tatum, Rob Williams, and a couple of picks, then they can get Durant. Because that's what they're gonna do.
If you take Tatum out of there, and you just trade Robert Williams and a picks.
Rob. Oh yeah, I'd probably do that.
I would think about it, but losing Tatum and him and picks, no.
Well, I just don't understand like how Boston loses in the final.
Bad? Like why?
Yeah,
why is he so bad? Like,
dude, they went to the finals and people are thinking, wow, what Boston's probably going to do is trade that 24-year-old MVP candidate who just led them to the finals because they lost in the finals. Yeah, makes sense, right?
That's what I don't understand. What is so bad about Tatum?
I can't figure that out myself, man. Listen, everyone wants to trade Marcus Smart. We had the number 1 defense, and the team was so good because of the top-ranked defense in the league. And he was the defensive player of the year. People think that we need to trade Marcus Smart to make the team better. It doesn't make any sense. None of it makes any sense. Anyway, Luke, do you have any triple T's?
Well, the only one that I would really say is everybody's complaining that we took forever to sign Kenny Pickett. Like, if that's our biggest issue this year, I'll be the happiest guy in the world.
Dude, I love the little things that people find to complain about on social media with sports teams. Like, oh no, they took too long to They were negotiating a deal.
I said, guys, first of all, he's a rook. He's getting paid $3.5 million a year, which, okay, whatever. We're not going to be great. Like, let Mitch do whatever he wants for 2 years.
Well, you're trying to do a soft rebuild.
Yeah. Also, just let Mitch cook. It'll be fine. Like I said, if that is our biggest issue, is the fact that we waited so long to sign Pickett, I will absolutely take that as a win for the year.
Yeah, that's not a huge issue to me. Anyway, folks, I think that's all we got for you today. Don't forget this episode has been brought to you by CreationSnacks.com. Use code BCMG for 20% off your order. Luke, thanks for joining me today, buddy. Why don't you tell people where they can find you?
Yep, you can find me on Twitter at KingofHearts82. And it's kind of sports depression season until about August now. So
yeah.
We'll figure it out then.
That's why I spent half this episode talking about Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, now we have Miss Marvel, please.
I haven't checked it out yet. How is it?
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad.
I might just focus on the boys.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I love it. It's like
but anyway, like I said, Luke, thanks for coming on, folks. I will be back next week talking about whatever the fuck I decide to talk about.